Yo, yo, what's up, good people? The boys from the Phantom Geek Zone. We're back again with another dope episode for y'all. As per usual, I'm Izzy.
I'm Real.
And we're continuing with our MCU recap series. This time around, we're going to be touching on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Marvel's first horror movie.
Yeah, man, proper horror movie. Well, just Marvel horror movie.
Horror
Yeah.
MCU.
AKA Doctor Strange 2,
Yeah.
you know. Very interesting. I mean, moving right off of that notion of the horror movie and all, I, when watching this, was so impressed by Marvel because I'm like, hey, man. On the one end, I almost got tempted to say, have we been over bashing it? Because I'm like, look, the movie's so far, not too bad
it's
overall.
come around on a few of us, like a Thor Ragnarok was not as bad as we thought it was.
But I mean, even in that ethos of the post-Endgame era, I'm like, no, man, so far, look, not everything has been a hit, but...
I think maybe we've also fallen into the trap a little bit. When something gets so popular that, your expectations are unrealistically high.
Yeah.
So one, I always say like Game of Thrones, for instance.
Yeah.
Like that last few seasons, the popularity skyrocketed.
Yes.
And it never really lived up to expectations.
Yeah.
Even with The Boys currently, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Don't
it's
get me
still good. It's still good TV, but it's not living up to our expectations.
what
So I
we're
think
waiting
maybe
for.
Marvel also fell into that trap a little bit.
I think part of it is that, and the other part is the big thing we always say, the comedy, too much, this, that. But again, I'm realizing that it's not as many of the movies that have it. Not that they don't do it. Look, some of them,
Some of them...
stick with the channel, we're going to tell you exactly which ones. But yeah, so I'm like, again, I like that it's not as, because there was almost a dread going into this phase where I'm like, so many things we just, grin and bear your way through and whatever. But I'm like, there's quite a few hits that they have. This definitely being among them.
Yeah.
And to my full point, I was appreciative of their willingness to like go there with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because to your point around the popularity, what that also does on the studio's part is that you become so precious and guarded about everything. But, first of all, shout out, Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
I mean,
OG director.
Yeah, we know him from the Tobey Spider-Man movies, but that's also for us nerds. Everyone else, he's like got some horror roots and, connections and that sort of thing.
I guess
So
it
it
ties in now.
Yeah, return to form as far as they're concerned. And then for us also, it's like, hey man, one of our OG nerd directors is back in the mix, and I'll definitely say, man, what a great movie. I think, let me put it that way.
I mean, for me as well, on the initial watch, I really, really enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
And I enjoy it now as well.
I will say, on that, I enjoyed it a lot the first time as well, but people out there didn't. And
I couldn't understand why.
I want to bring it into the discussions because I saw the reasons that they put out, and I can kind of sort of see how they played into that narrative, and then we'll discuss, what we think with that incorporated. But essentially, again, quick recap of the story. So now this is, the second Doctor Strange solo movie. It's of course also coming off of the bat of Endgame, fighting Thanos, and Doctor Strange's role in it. I feel like we sometimes, outside of that particular movie, don't acknowledge or mention it enough that he was the catalyst to the penultimate event. There was that whole thing around firstly giving the time stone to Thanos, and then later on cueing Tony as far as, okay, no, not yet. Now go for your mark, because he did say, 14 million what?
14 million
something.
And only win one.
Realities, and then only one in which, that universe would win against.
He saw. We know now there's a lot more.
Where, we would win against Thanos. But of course, we now get a little into the consequences of that as far as everyone else, because now they're pointing the finger at him.
Yeah.
And one of the things I realized, at the risk of getting a little ahead of myself, is this movie actually answered my question around, do we have enough mentions or just instances of acknowledging everything that happened with Thanos and the snap and everything around it? And I think the answer is essentially yes, it did come up here and there. It doesn't have to be the focal point, because we had, two big movies around that, but now it's like dealing with the consequences So I like that it is actually, a part of these movies going forward. At least, these first few anyway. So it's, again, we're meeting Doctor Strange, but now it starts off with this unknown...
The marriage, wedding. Huh?
Was
Oh,
it the
no,
first?
no, I get you. Okay.
Yeah. It's a dream sequence /
gotcha.
alternate reality.
So a different Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. We're like, wait, because also...
What's up with the ponytail?
There's no real time frame between the movies.
Yeah.
We just know, okay, sometimes it's right afterwards, other times it's way later. So we're like, Doctor Strange, okay, grow out a ponytail.
Yeah, is this young lady running?
His version of like the depression beard, so to speak, like... But yeah, and they're like running away from, these weird creatures and whatnot. Book of Shanti, whatever the hell that is. And then next thing, he's now essentially, trying to kill this girl, take her power, save the world, and then he dies. And then he wakes up. You're like, interesting. What's happening? But then it turns out that this girl is someone who has the power to travel through the multiverse, and she's got these monsters chasing her. And it's events around that, that the movie is essentially centered. Again, I enjoyed the overall story of it. I enjoyed, the flow of it. I enjoyed the tie-ins to Thanos events, the new stuff. There still is an element of we're moving forward.
Yes.
We're not necessarily stuck in anything. Now, to officially kick off the discussion, I want to bring in what people have been saying. So keep in mind, this is also, as far as, real time when it came out, when Disney's pumping out a lot of TV shows
content,
and just material, and content across the board. Then what they decided to do, which is again, the regime at the time, for some odd reason not some reason, the reason is to get the numbers up for Disney Plus. They wanted to have the movies be tied into the other content.
TV shows,
So WandaVision is closely tied to this movie. But not that many people. It's by far the most popular movie, but not that many people watched, WandaVision. And so by the time it got to the movie, people were like, wait, why is Wanda evil all of a sudden? Wait, why is she talking about having kids and all of that stuff, which we've never ever seen?
But that's your prompt to go watch the other stuff.
Touche. Right? But as far as leaving the cinema, not having watched that stuff, or perhaps not even knowing that you had to watch it beforehand, and then seeing this... I noted that they tried to, explain it a little here and there, like, Wanda, those kids are not real, they're in imagination, oh, she's possessed, it's a small town, but it feels like throwaway lines compared to what actually happened. I mean, watching 13 episodes or whatever it was, and seeing the whole thing unfold. So the context doesn't really get driven to the point that, one would need in order to fully understand. So I'm not justified, it's just an explanation of where they're coming from, but at the same time, I didn't watch WandaVision before this. I wanted to see what my experience would be with that missing context, so to speak. And I feel like perhaps it's because I still do remember the events, but it does not take away from the movie being enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, I still feel like people were being ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous. But with that being established, what's your take on the version of Wanda that we got to see in this particular movie?
Yes, please. Yes, please. No, I think she played that role to perfection for what it was.
Yeah.
They wrote a really good role for her. So we knew the power scale of Wanda. From Endgame, you can figure it out. Like, she was going head to head with Thanos. And here we saw it. She killed Kamataj. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She single-handedly took these multiversal or other dimensional warriors down single-handedly.
Yeah.
So you saw a power scale. You had a motivation, like grief.
Yeah.
Like, she got blinded by her own grief, and it's something people can relate to. So good enough motivation there. Although a little bit unhinged, which we appreciate.
Of course, we're all about it here.
But it also tied into the bigger universe, because we know her as Wanda, and then the magicians or the sorcerers, the Kamataj people, they know the Scarlet Witch. So it built on from Wanda evolving into the Scarlet Witch. And then lore building as well, like with the Darkhold. So, I think, and then those moments with her and her kids, and, where she loses herself eventually and finds it again. And, that was pretty cool. Like,
And I mean, yeah, I definitely, absolutely love that she went again unhinged and just,
Yeah.
yeah.
just the way she like ended people sometimes.
Yeah, man. No close
No
calls and
frills.
no.
It's
Okay,
just
we're
like,
gonna stop. No hesitation. Like she's like, man, going crazy. And it's funny because she started off going crazy, and then she's like, nah, I was still. What was the
I was-
with? No, not withdrawn. There was a term. She
yeah.
said mercy, and she said something else. I was still being reasonable. I think
Yeah.
yeah. And she's like, it's on some this ain't even my full power yet type thing. And I'm like, wait, what? And then of course we see that build up as the movie unfolds. So I absolutely love that. One element that stood out a lot more than before, we talking on the motivation, we are aware that, hey man, it's a grieving mother,
Yeah.
And I mean, look, whether you want to argue, are they real or not, but they're
yeah,
real to
did
her.
she ever have those kids? Yeah.
They're real to her, and that's clearly all that matters from her perspective. Now, she then also said, I put a hole in the head of the man I love, and it still meant nothing. And I was like, oof.
Yeah.
As a
And
reminder
we
that
talked
she's
about
dealing
that,
with
yeah.
grief on both fronts,
Yeah.
dog. You're talking the love of your life, you're talking the kids.
Her
and
brother's also dead.
there's also
You know
that
what I mean?
lingering. Yeah, man. So
And she
who's
doesn't have a
left?
mentor figure, does she?
No. Not a proper one, and that's still around anyway. So, because it's the scientists that like raised her and all of that stuff. But yeah, man, like her backstory is
Insane. Yeah.
yeah, motivation to no end, and it's interesting how between the kids and even Vision, she never really had like real humans that she formed that level of attachment with.
She fell in love with the robot.
But the extent to which she just gave herself to all of that, I mean, you see now how she's reacting. Like the buy-in on her part was just so insane because it also speaks to the void that they were filling and how much they
Yeah.
meant. Despite again our so-called judgment as the outsiders of they were not real. He's a robot. All of that stuff. So I'm like, hey man, perspective is always going to be the most interesting thing. Not just where movies are concerned, but in real life as a whole. So I like how they played with the principle of that, and even just that idea that, I mean, Doctor Strange himself, he's again, I wish I remember that term, man, but just as far as they were emphasizing how powerful he is as a wizard, but clearly no match for Wanda, never
Like
mind everyone else that
he
came in
didn't
as
even realize he
reinforcements.
was in an apple field that wasn't an apple field. You know what I mean?
Dude. And
Like
the brilliance of that scene also,
Yeah.
like that bait and switch was just so perfect, man, because,
It's like we need to talk to a witch. Goes and talks to a witch.
and I loved that.
How's America doing? I didn't tell you her name.
I even forgot about that. So
Yeah.
I thought, no, she's picking apples and whatever, cool. And like, no, why don't you just bring America over to me? And then he stops and looks at her. And it's one of those things where it's
And
like,
she's like, oh.
yeah, exactly. I gave it away.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I see him pondering something. I'm like, what is he pondering? Is it the fact that she said, bring her here? Maybe he's suspicious. Why would you want me to bring her here instead of maybe you coming to... And then he's like, nah, you never told me her name. I'm like, oh, okay. What's happening? And then it
That
like,
slow reveal.
starts to come through. I'm like, oof, this is like, yes, but some... I don't know, man, some corner of hell or whatever that we're in the middle of. And again, to your point, he didn't even realize that. So that already is an indication of the power scaling between the two and just how much of a difference there exists, you know. Speaking of America, what did you think of our newbie character?
Yeah, I mean, she's a teenage girl. She played a teenage girl really well.
Yeah,
There's nothing more you can fault her for.
Yeah, literally, it's one of those ways like, yes, did a good job, like that's that type of thing.
Stephen Strange, she needed a mentor. He did the mentorship role. She did the mentee role. Good stuff.
And I mean, talk about great actress also. Like, if you want to talk about like emoting and all of that, because
100%. Like really, what is it? Sad backstory as well.
Yeah, and you saw it coming through, and whether it's just her expressions or whatever. I mean, every moment whenever Doctor Strange gets a little like loud or angry or whatever, and then you see that fear come in, and each time I always just felt for her, And that's a nice thing. I was starting off with a scene where he was literally in the middle of killing her, because now that fear is fully justified
Yeah.
and contextualized at the same time, you know. So every single time I'm like, "Aish, yeah." Even if you understand where he's coming from, what he's saying, but you're like, she has all the reason in the world to have this fear. So I think, yeah, that was pretty dope for me to experience. And back to Wanda for a second, her performance in this movie.
Yeah. Top tier.
Come on.
Top tier.
Come on, man.
At every point, she was the perfect villain, right? Menacing, evil.
Again.
I wouldn't say justified. That's one way I would say like good motivation, but not like a Thanos where it's like you feel the justification. Because like, it just felt too menacing to be. Because and also she was just willing to do anything.
Literally, yeah.
She literally did
Yeah,
anything.
including just killing at will.
Yeah. And like possessing herself in another universe.
Yeah, don't like...
And killing people. And like the reality is that Wanda of that universe has to live with the consequences. And she didn't care.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. The acting again over here. I think for me, one of the standout scenes, and she certainly gave us quite a lot, was where she was there by the Kamatage and she was giving like a little speech before she then, you know, started attacking. And I think it was there where I'm looking like at the expressions, like the voices, like, you know, she moved in and out, like it's the whispers, and then she's like a little more assertive in her speaking. And there were so many different notes I saw her hitting, and I'm like, oof, okay, I don't know. She's like locked in. I think, it was when, because Doctor Strange flew up and then they had a conversation. It was in the middle of that one where I saw all of these things, and I was like, eesh, yeah. And the interesting thing when you talk about the justification, you know, is something justified in general.
Yeah.
It's also a matter of believing it is one thing, but it's also how someone then portrays it or paints the picture for you. So I think based on how she was saying, I'm like, oof, I can see why you would do all this. Me agreeing or disagreeing is a side note, but as far as where you stand, where you're coming from, I'm like, yeah, you truly do believe, you know, all of this stuff. It's also, of course, Multiverse of Madness, right? And I did say
first
even
foray, really, properly.
Yes, yeah. And even they acknowledged
acknowledgement of,
Yeah, the fact that, because they were like, do you have experience? Like,
we dabbled, the little thing
had a little
Peter,
thing now with Spider-Man not so long ago.
So with Spider-Man, it's like, he's a spider and he's a man.
Yeah, has those powers of a spider. And like, I think she's...
this is the hypnosis one,
Is that where she gets the hypnosis?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
I think so, but anyways,
whims out of his butt, all of that, weird little dialogue. But the point is, so they
but
started
there you
off
go,
a little...
teenager, right?
Yeah, that's where the mind would go. But also, I mean, if without the context that we have, someone says someone is a Spider-Man. What reasonable thing are you gonna think of? That's the first thing. So it's like in Spider-Man No Way Home, we had a little bout with the multiverse, and then now we're about to
actually traveling the multiverse,
really getting into it. So I recall I had a little beef earlier with just the naming of it, because when they say Multiverse of Madness, I was like, I see the multiverse part, but the madness part, not so much. Because it's almost like, look, if you're not talking about maybe her rampage being the madness, but it's like...
Wonders,
Yeah, she's
but
just traveling through the multiverse, but not madness from the multiverses themselves, or the different universes, rather. If anything, Spider-Man was a little closer to that, because it's like literally different, but semantics, arguably, but for me, I was like, honing a lot more on the multiverse aspect that I could get. The madness, it just created a different expectation for me. But given that I knew what's coming, I was like, you know what? You still did a fantastic job nonetheless, because it was still, different elements from different multiverses. And I like the extent to which they, although it feels like they did it a lot more with Doctor Strange, now that I think about it, more than anyone else. The extent to which they differentiated the characters from different multiverses.
Yes, the different Doctor Stranges.
Yeah. Because again...
You had Ponytail Strange, who was willing to do anything.
Literally, yeah.
And then you had our Strange, 616 Strange, who's a mentor and has experience with it with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And is more heartwarming in a sense.
Yeah. Relatively speaking.
More warmth to him.
Yeah.
And then you had Strange, who killed himself.
Yeah, like Strange corpse, basically.
The Illuminati Strange.
The one with the dark hold.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then comes the corpse strange, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's like these guys are like so different from one another, even in like the design.
Oh yes, I know. Sorry, I got you now.
With the
I
corpse.
forgot about him. Yeah.
Yeah, with the day walking guy at the end. Yes, I'm like, yo, this is like so different, and you could feel obviously the difference in the looks helps with the buy-in of them being different versions of one another, right? The one has no beard, the other one has a ponytail,
The one has a third eye.
one has a third eye, and the other one is a literal zombie. I was like, I like that this helps us make sure that we
It's
know they're
different,
all
yeah.
different. But of course, the
But then
portrayal
it
and
works. It works the same as Spider-Man in a sense. Like it's the same person, but there's nuance changes.
yeah. The personalities
The
and
same
all that are different. Yeah. So which is then what I was saying in that Spider-Man review, that the fact that it's still the same actor, it's like the differentiation is only to a certain point, whereas with them they had completely different. But even so, they did a lot with using the same character. And again, I say it's more with Doctor Strange and before that everyone else. I realized not to the same extent, but I still loved what they did with him. It is, his story at the end of the day, I suppose. We also have, speaking of, the multiverse aspect of it, the
Fan service
Illuminati
galore.
and
Fan service galore. Oh my word!
I mean, we watched this together at the cinema,
yeah.
so it was quite the trip. See,
It was a
yeah. See, all the different dudes like popping up, one by one.
and then they gave each of them
Like the ante was like raised so much, It starts. Who was the first? I mean, we of course see
was it
Moro fine.
Mordo? Was
Then,
it Captain Carter first?
No.
Yes, yeah. Captain Carter, then
she
Black.
first?
I think so. Black Bolt.
And then the dude with the
and
screams.
then the other Captain Marvel.
And then Captain Marvel.
And
then
then
Mr.
Mr.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and the world's smartest man. We're like, okay, we know that's Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic.
And then
Like,
they
okay.
went-
And the build up in terms of the reveal, right? They show
went-
the
yeah.
costume first,
And
and,
they
then
went
the
full-
face, and we're like, wow.
The fact that they went full fan cast was lovely.
Yeah. Because I mean, in case you're not aware, I mean, in general, every now and then there's like a fan cast that's put out there. People will say this actor should play this role and whatnot. And I think it was for a couple of years at that point, where people had been saying that
John Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski. I almost said Jim now.
Jim Halpert.
John Krasinski should be playing this character and whatever. And even in interviews, they would ask him, and and he actually had auditioned for Captain America and I think maybe one other superhero. I can't remember which.
Okay.
So yeah, it always came up again and again and again. So it was like a proper full circle moment and fan service as well when he was. So yeah, he like got some screams. And
Patrick Stewart.
then after that, you hear the voice. You're like, wait, is that Patrick Stewart? And then I realized they were playing the music as well. Like it was an orchestra version of the original X-Men. Yeah. I'm trying to. Damn, I lost the song now. But yeah, so man, even did he use that wheelchair in any of the X-Men?
No, I think that's
It was
straight from the comics.
Exactly, so
he just used a normal wheelchair, I think. Yeah.
Listen, man, I can't fault them on that.
They gave us something nice.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that.
And funny enough, this is also one of the things that people hated. Hey, his John Krasinski's casting, people had an issue with, and then also even the scene as far as how quickly they all died, people had an issue with. But I'm like,
Wanda is just that powerful.
Thank you, because like I said, I was looking at a lot of these moments through the lens of okay, people said this. Let me consider that. But I realized, I'm like, before you even get there, all the other destruction that she has done.
But like some of the characters did get their moments in. Like Captain Carter got a few moments in. Captain Marvel got a few moments in.
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic, but power scaling wise compared to them,
I
he's
mean,
just a stretchy guy.
I was going to say, he can only stretch so far before
and like,
she's going to,
for me, it's like she outsmarted Black Bolt. Like,
yeah,
his one power is speaking
they're
and you'll
like,
die.
yo,
And where's
he
your
can
mouth?
kill you with just one scream. It's like, what mouth?
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he still tried,
And then
oh.
that's what I appreciate when they went there. With those types of scenes,
I was going to say, that reminds me of, it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to lean into horror, our own version, of course, but to still have moments of gore here and there. I was like, yo, man, there were certain moments I was like, Marvel, you did this? Like, of course, it's when homie blew his brains out, basically, And then there was when the Doctor Strange with the eye, when he then
Yeah.
fell out the building and then got
just
impaled.
impaled, yeah.
They showed him and they had the blood. They like,
Yeah.
because I realized the thing with Marvel, they like to show one or the other,
Yeah.
if anything. Because sometimes they'll like get just before and then they'll move away. For instance, okay, but it's in a later movie where, I mean, first they did show the decapitation with Thanos, and then in a later movie they moved away when, you know, someone's head was being decapitated. So they like a bit finicky, I guess, depending on which property they're dealing with and that sort of thing. But to see them actually go there in this one, it was quite a nice surprise, you know, as, mental as that makes us sound, but if you're gonna go horror,
Go for it.
PG-13 though it may be, still
for it,
do as much as you can within that space, you know. So, yeah, she then, of course, lays out all of the Illuminati characters, but I still enjoyed the cameos.
Look, it's
basically.
a cameo, so
Exactly. And again, I will say, they had established well enough by this point that her power level
it's just insane.
is on some other, you know. Yeah, I mean, which is why Doctor Strange even got to a point where he's like, the same Darkhold he's been cautioning her about is the thing he's gonna then use in order to try and defeat her. You know, that's how powerful she was. Special shout outs to Wong, man. Like, we've been seeing him
as a cameo,
for
but he
a while.
got some screen time
Yeah,
here.
no, he definitely
And,
came through.
I
this
really
time.
appreciated it.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. So,
Yeah. That fun banter of him, of course, Doctor Strange.
Him and Doctor Strange always have that fun banter.
Yeah, it's a lovely interaction. Any single time it comes through, man, I enjoy it. And I really like how he was like a mainstay throughout this entire movie.
He was the other. You've got Doctor Strange in America, and then you have Scarlet Witch and Wong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, he was part of the second focal point.
Because I remember when I saw him at the beginning, I was like, okay, it was like a stretched out scene with him. I mean, that's the thing with the octopus with the big eye and whatever. I'm like, oh, wow, he's like around. And then I guess because of the conditioning with all the cameos, you kind of just expect him to fade away afterwards.
But he was there.
He stays coming through, and it wasn't just showing him for the sake of showing him. You know, if it's
he had an actual
passing
moment to
on
shine.
words, if it's fighting, if he always had an impact. Basically, is what I'm saying. So shout out to Benedict Wong, no doubt. Any other standout moments for you? You know, highlights while I keep
Character
thinking.
specific.
Yeah, for the characters now.
I would like to just mention that reveal of the Darkhold Temple and the Scarlet Witch actually being the entity they were waiting for. Just a little bit of world building that I appreciated. So I really enjoyed that. And then when they were jumping the multiverse, I don't know if it's just me, but one of the universes was like faces, and I think that's the Living Tribunal.
Okay.
So if you know the comics, I think that's what the Living Tribunal looks like. So so more like world building there as well.
Because I tried to keep an eye out during those scenes, and I was like, "Ish, what can I pick up?" I'm not familiar with the
so
Tribunal.
I only know it from playing Marvel Snap. So
Okay, so I wouldn't have been able to catch that. But I was trying to see is there anything else.
Anything else, not really.
I didn't see
much, but
So that's the one thing I feel like was an opportunity to do a little something, man, like Easter egg here and there, you know, type of thing. No matter what the universe, including the paint one, like just have a little paint of something where we can be like, man, you know, that sort of thing. So but the Darkhold, you know, that as she said, you know, this is not say grave or what, but it's actually a throne. That I found to be quite the interesting. I don't know if you want to call it a twist. Or, basically, because I mean, was it Wong who shared? Whoever mentioned that the book itself is just a copy. But the original.
And no one can get there.
It's quite a mission to actually, you know, reach the. And it's funny, they only do this, they're like, no one has made the trip. And then 5-6 people end up getting there. But I was like, okay, at least these guys use the magic to just teleport basically over there. So I can let that slide. But I like the finality of it not being the book, but being, you know, the carvings
temple,
there and all that stuff.
That's the thing, right? She didn't lose. She chose to lose.
Yeah, she surrendered.
Yeah, she surrendered. There you go. Which I liked, and again, it's showing the power scales. Like they can't really defeat her.
Yeah,
they played into her emotive and human side,
and even how they led into that, right? Because once again, Strange is like, okay, hold on, not yet. And then America opens up the portal into another universe.
And that scene was just
I mean,
chef's kisses for me.
even going back a bit to fully establish that scene, right? I mean, throughout the movie, she can only make use of her powers if she's like scared to the brink of death.
Oh, America as well, yeah.
America, yeah. So that's how she's been teleporting the whole time. And then you have that little tender moment with her and Strange.
She's like, you're going to take my powers.
Yeah, with Wong, the whole movie they're trying to protect her. And now they realize, there maybe isn't a way around this. Yeah. This may be the only way to defeat her. It's literally what they say, it's the only way. And Strange then is like, he walks up. And I like that because...
The bait and switch, yeah.
That's the thing. I realized that actually wasn't because he never agreed with Wong. Yeah. Wong said that and all he did was move away. It wasn't like some nodding or whatnot. In as much as sometimes the silence is some form of agreement. But with this one, I noticed he didn't say anything. He walked up to her and she's like, you want to take my powers? And then he's like, it's the only way. But then he's like, so that's where the switch I saw come in. But yeah, he explains, nah, man, look. Yeah. You are the person with the powers. You can actually hold them. You've been doing this the whole time. Yeah. And the whole time, we're like, every single time you landed where you needed to. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, you're right.
Oof. Yeah. Talk about some insane, I guess, foreshadowing, and then just tying it back and saying, look, man, this is on you. You are the one who can take this thing over, bring us back home.
And then opening that portal to see the boys and the other Wanda. And it was like, it brought her back to reality.
Yeah, making her realize. Because remember, with dream walking, she immediately just wakes up as Wanda. Yeah. Whereas now, she's
the Scarlet Witch.
You're seeing her also. Like, you taking full stock of the human whose life you are possessing. Yeah. It's one of those things.
But it's not even that. It's she looks exactly like the boy's mother. But she's not their mother.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, right? It's. I mean, we were having this conversation, before we started shooting. We were talking about it's one thing to have an idea or a notion of something, even if you want to carry it out. But getting to the point where you have to do it, it's a little different, when reality actually sets in. So, yes, it's that thing where she's seeing the real mother, but it's like, I have to. The only way to carry this out is by possessing her. Number one, number two. The fear in the kids, I think, was like the straw that broke the camel's back, because she's like, she wants to mother them.
And she wants to give them a hug, but they
don't want nothing to do. They are fearful, Everyone else that she, not
and that's the thing, they didn't even call her mom. They're like, the witch is back.
Exactly. Even with other people that would be scared in her path, it meant nothing. But now it's like the one person, which again... is an amazing philosophical element to tap into, right? Which is the idea of it's like the interest versus the outcome of the pursuit in a way. It's like, if you're talking about, let's say, getting a degree, you're obsessed, man. People will go like 6-7 years again, try until they actually get it, and then you end up getting it. Then there's that sense where you're like, I don't feel the fulfillment I was expecting. I thought I'd feel a lot better at the end of this experience. And that's dealing with a non-living thing, to try and just put it in a nutshell. Now you flip it over, right? Never mind her and the kids. I mean, us in the real world, if it's someone you're pursuing, you're like, no, man, I'm obsessed with this person. I want to be with them. And you do everything in your power. And then you get to the point where they also have to, because it's like a social contract. When they have to sign the agreement, they're like, nah, but I don't want you. And then he's like, oh, damn, my obsession is not the be-all and end-all. Yeah. It's one half of this whole thing at the most. And I think that's also what she was now experiencing. That she wanted it so much, there was absolutely zero consideration as far as what is best for the kids, but also what would the kids themselves want. Because you're talking about now people with like self-awareness. Yeah. It's not even like, infants or anything. So watching that all unfold, I was like, ooh. Because the whole time I was not a consideration I was even making. It's more a matter of how would you even do this and whatever. But now I'm like, the kids have a say. And they're like, nah, man, we want our actual mom. Yeah. So I think it was, given that she could only be stopped by her own sacrifice. Yeah. What a better way. What a great way, rather, to pivot into that.
I hope we don't see Scarlet Witch again.
That's the other thing I wanted to then say. We've had a few instances where there was a great finality to characters, but I've also realized, aside from Endgame, of course, it usually happens with new characters.
Yeah.
You know, like they'll bring in a Mysterio and then they'll kill him, and then that's that. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But with the familiar / established characters in the MCU, is this maybe the first death we're seeing after Endgame?
Besides Tony, yeah.
Yeah. After, yeah. The first big one of like, you know, pre-existing character. So they need to now make sure that this is it.
And I think in the dirt sheets it is, like I've seen whisperings that it's.
Yes, yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. So they just need to stick with that. Of course, it's one of those things where when people really love working with a particular person, or if they're popular enough, they find other ways. It's like flashbacks or in a series or whatever.
Or a whole nother character.
Yeah. But don't bring her back as a continuation of Scarlet Witch. I think that's the big thing for me. Shout out to Christine.
Yes.
Yeah, Rachel McAdams. When I saw her at the wedding, I was like, ish. Never mind, not that they're not together, but I was saying...
But when she hit the line, it's like...
No, but for me, I was saying it, there was a pre-disappointment because I'm like, if they're showing her wedding, it means I'm not going to see her after this.
Oh, okay.
Only for the subversion to come in as the
different Christine,
other Christine coming in, and then she's the one who still has that anchoring element for Doctor Strange. But yeah, you were saying the line?
No, when she hit the line, it's like you always had to be the one holding the knife.
Ish.
And then at the end, he wasn't the one holding the knife. It was America.
But also, that was, I guess, another bait and switch, right? Because she kept saying that, and then he was almost like trying to have that, I'm different. I'm not like other guys. You know, I'm not like other strangers. And then they keep, you know, fighting to find other ways to defeat Scarlet Witch. And eventually he's like, hey, the Darkhold is the only way now. Then she pops up again. She's like, I told you guys always have to be the one. And it's like, oof. She got you. You've been trying to say, no, I'm different. I'm this, that. And here you are. Oh, Doctor Strange, you all are the same. And I'm like, damn. He just leaned into it at that moment, right? Then after you have the thing where it's like, nah, actually, he's gonna then, you know, hand over to America to, you know, wield her powers and that sort of thing. But even that scene, firstly he's like, just make sure to guard, you know, in case because they're gonna attack me for trespassing, whatever. I'm like, how? So fine, she like, you know, blew them up, that's whatever. But for me, the bigger takeaway was talking him and coaching him through how to do it. She's like, you're a wizard, they're spirits, do your thing. Then he was able to get control. I'm like, man, once again, Christina is still, you know, his anchor.
Knows him.
So I love that they brought that element into the mix. Anything else you want to?
I mean, that's that was it. I wanted to mention Christine, but you took it out of my mouth. So
man. So again, overall, like, you know, hitting all the lovely, wonderful points we want to.
Yeah.
And you must keep in mind, we're talking Doctor Strange, right? Who's like nowhere near the most popular of characters.
Yeah.
And with these dudes, when you give them solo movies, you really need to have something to say, you know. So I think shout out to them, not only how they went about telling the story, but the post or mid-credit scene also.
With Charlize, our girl.
Hey man, I'm still waiting to see it again. Like what? Come on, Disney. Come on, Marvel. I haven't heard a single whisper around Doctor Strange 3 or anything. But anyway, I like, again, how they carry out the story, but also where they want to take it next according to that. Because it's now
building on top of what
has to deal with the consequences. Yeah. So we speak a lot about like the finality of things and then quickly reverses and whatnot. But I see more and more instances of letting certain moments breathe and also bringing back consequences of what has come before. So I'm like, that's what you call a proper tie-in universe. It's beyond just different characters cameoing in each other's movies and that sort of thing. It's like the underlying story must actually travel throughout, you know, the other materials as well. So keen to see where that's going to take us. But otherwise, out of 10, what you giving it?
Yeah, I think like 7.5.
7, yeah, I think that's a good sweet spot. Yeah, 7.5 for me as well. Not gonna crack the top 5.
No, I
though,
don't think
as,
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
It's close. For me, it
and
was close,
enjoyable.
but I don't think it's
Okay.
just there.
I can see that though, because yeah, it wasn't just a fun little watch. Like, it was a proper
Yeah.
great story, you know. So we're gonna still have Avengers Infinity War
Yep.
as our number 1, Iron Man 1 is the second, Spider-Man Homecoming
Yep.
number 3, and then we have Spider-Man No Way Home,
No Way Home, yeah.
our new entry in the 4th spot, and then it's in Avengers Endgame
And Civil
Captain America Civil War in our 5th spot. So yeah, quite the strong top 5,
Yeah.
you know. So interesting to see if anything else is going to shake it up going forward. But until then, this is it from us for today. Shout out for sticking around. You know the drill. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know, follow us, the Phantom Geek Zone on Instagram. And as far as what comes next, man, just keep your eye glued to PGZ. Peace.